August 3, 2024, Essie Berry released a video talking about Steve Harvey 2005 divorce con job against Mary Harvey in her divorce case in Collins County, Texas. After years of anguish and turmoil between Steve and Mary Harvey, Ricky Anderson, Texas entertainment attorney, represented Steve and Mary Harvey in their divorce case, which was illegal and unethical. Adding insults to injury, removing Mary Harvey from a mental ward, Anderson took Mary to court. Steve was not present, knowing Mary's soul had been murdered for years because of Steve Harvey infidelity and malicious behavior. In 2009, Mary found out that her son by Steve Harvey, Wynton Harvey, had been beaten by Steve with a belt buckle and fraternity paddle. After finding out, Mary was forced into silence by Steve Harvey and his goon attorneys and Judge Angela Tucker from 199th District Court in Texas, which you will see a copy of the child abuse report that was closed in Texas. But the abuse happened in Georgia. Mind you, all this happened before Essie Berry ever knew Mary or Steve Harvey. Essie Berry did not know anything about this couple until 2013, while trying to get cast for Essie reality show, Widow Wives and Exes. Berry contacted Mary in 2013 about doing the show. Mary told Essie there was a gag order on her as an activist that did not make sense to Berry. Texas attorney Bobby Edmond helped Steve cover child abuse up against Mary's son Wynton Harvey, forcing a innocent child into silence about his abuse. Wynton Harvey was mistreated by his Steve Harvey for years and everyone looked away. Wynton Harvey told college friends who talks about that to Storm Monroe. The court system failed Wynton Harvey for years. Berry felt that she failed Mary's son Wynton too. Berry has been at the hands of an abuser before. She knows what that is like. Essie remained silent for years at the mercy of Steve Harvey extortion and blackmail. Now she will set the record straight. Bombshells will continue to drop with the truth.
Mary, you were saying that the police came to your door to take your son from you.
Yes.
What happened that night?
Wynton and I were out shopping, and I had gotten a phone call from my attorney telling me that I needed
Who's the attorney? You remember the name?
Paget.
Okay.
Jay Paget called me. And to give me instructions that the judge was saying that Wynton needed to be on a flight to his father. And I was just really stunned. When you know that the law is being turned against you. And it's like, where do you go? Who do I tell at this point? When you know a judge is conspiring against you, and you know the police, who do you go and call at that moment to stop what's happening? Who do you call? Who's going to hear you? Who's going to listen to you? And obviously no one heard me and no one listened to me because my child was taken out of my yard. You know, it's like you're in a bad movie in a third world country or something, and you have no power. This has nothing to do with us. We're just doing what we are told to do. And my son is in the back of a town car that his father sent to the house.
Not a police car.
Not a police car.
A town car.
The police was just there to keep me at bay, all armed up. Okay? Wow. A town car. Supposedly, it is just really wild. It still bothers me to this day. My son is in the back of a town car with a driver that he's never met, that I've never met. Upset, crying, calling for me. And I'm standing there with the policeman next to me, armed. And your child is looking at you, panic-stricken. What do? Do I run in the house and call some more police? I don't think so. What do you do at that moment? Those are the things that wake me up in my sleep. That even when I want to not have those dreams, they are there. Because at that moment, my son wanted me to protect him from what was happening to him. And I couldn't. Get into a fight with the police and get shot? you know, on something that's happening that's not even legal. So you say to yourself, why would somebody intentionally go this far to hurt you? Who did the... As a parent, how do you stop having that nightmare? How do you stop thinking about that? How do you do that? I to this day, I've not.
So Steve never even came to you to either try to contact you to discuss anything about you and Wynton, or
No.
custody about with you and Wynton?
From day one, it was about, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to violate every visitation order that you have, and you're not going to do nothing about it because nobody's going to listen to you. I was irrelevant. I'm the star. You're irrelevant. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Whatever is in those documents doesn't even matter because I'm in charge here. And he clearly was in charge. Clearly. So
Mary, he was in charge, but from my understanding...
Is that how they knew it was Steve?
I don't know, because I know I put his full legal name on there.
And what was that?
Just so that they would see him. Broderick Stephen.
Oh, his name is Broderick Stephen?
Yeah. So they put that on that paperwork. I don't know if at the end of that whole paperwork, and CSI came in there and took pictures. And after all of that, I don't know if I mentioned Steve's name or Wynton, I'm not sure, but I know his name came up. And that's what the officer asked me, you sure you want to do that? And I said, why shouldn't I want to do it? And he just looked at me like, wasn't it obvious? You know, I just said, why shouldn't I want to do it?
See, that's the stuff I'm talking about. So because with Steve Harvey, they let him walk away with child abuse.
So willing to look over my baby's child abuse because of some celebrity.
They said, I saw your video about Steve Harvey. The woman is telling the truth about Steve. He is controlling and abusive towards Wynton. I was friends with Wynton back in college at FIU. And to his father sent a strange man, that's Boomerang, in the middle of the night to yank him out of school because of his grades. It really wasn't because of the grades. It's because Wynton was trying to go back and live with Mary. All right, trying to get back cool, trying to reestablish a relationship with his mother. Granted, Wynton never went to class, but it was just so odd how they sent someone to pull him out of his dorm at 3 or 4 a.m. I'll never forget how upset I was because I couldn't properly say goodbye until months later when he came with Lori and Wynton snuck on our floor to properly say goodbye. We were damn near in tears. Let's move on. Those were the boys of our friend group. I blocked out some of the names. Wynton was dating a crazy white girl named Sophia. They was effing on the low. The rest of that's not really important. But truthfully, this person said, I love him like a brother. And Wynton took my rejection like a soldier and never treated me differently. Wynton had a good heart. There's nobody that Wynton encountered that didn't like him. One night before Wynton left FIU, he told me something I'll never forget. Our friend group went up on the roof of one of those multi-story garages. We got high and drunk. Then he started confessing how his father was always verbally and physically abusive towards him. See, Mary, this is what we need to be worried about. Not Essie hurting your feelings. This is what you need to be talking about. And this is what you should have kept talking about, no matter how many times they threw you in jail. He even said that Steve lied to him about his mother for years. Mary, I want to make sure you come to, or Ruth, who's ever watched, I want to make sure you come to the camera so you hear this. He said that Steve lied to him about his mother for years, but he knows the truth now. So your baby knows the truth. He knew that you loved him. He knew that you didn't abandon him, but he had to get away for himself. Let's keep going. He cried so hard that night. We were all shook at his words. We admired his father and thought he did too. Wynton then went on to express his disdain for Marjorie and Lori. We never liked Lori. They claimed Lori was a stuck-up ass bitch. Anyway, before she left FIU to follow Memphis around. Remember, Memphis D-Lay or DJ of Memphis, the soccer player, is Lori's first fiance, first public boyfriend. So keep in mind, Lori left college to go chase a boy around who she didn't even end up marrying. Although we only saw Lorraine Platts and blah, blah, blah. Okay, bam. So let's move on. Wynton ended up losing contact with all of us, but we kept an eye on him on social media. He was our real friend. We never cared about who his father was. I remember that night he cried and talked about his past, and he said, y'all are the first real friends I've ever had. So what in the hell was going on? Oh, we already know, but just think that Wynton didn't even have no damn real friends until he went to college and got away from his pappy. And that's because we never tried to use him or ask him for anything. He was able to be vulnerable with us and have a real relationship that was based off of materialism and not shallow. That wasn't based off of materialism or shallow ideals. And what did his daddy do? Took away the only real friends that he had. But I want to go back now, because this is a picture of Wynton in Dubai, which is where he lives now. And he does the fashion thing and the photography thing. And like I said, it literally looks like a better version of his father. The kind of man that Steve wish he was on the inside and out. Character-wise, looks-wise, all that. All right. What's important to know is that one night, one of those drunken nights with his friends at FIU, Wynton told everybody that if he ever moved, he would move to Dubai. And he also said if he ever had a family, got married, or had any kids, that he would raise them in Dubai. He would not even live in the United States. And everybody said, what? Like, why? You know, this was before it was cool to go to Dubai. Now it's cool to go to Dubai. They done built it up, blah, blah, blah. It was, you know, a decade ago. Wasn't nobody talking about it like that. Not in the general public. And they said, why would you want to raise your kids in Dubai? Why would you want to be away from everyone? Why would you want to be over there isolated by yourself? And he said that I would raise my kids in Dubai because I know that if I'm in Dubai, my father cannot get his hands on my children. This young man is so afraid of his father and knows that his father has such a long reach that he said, nigga, I need to be on the other side of the world to get away from him. I need to be somewhere where my daddy can't even come over here and thinking he running things and thinking he can buy. Because Dubai got money on top of money on top of money. You act like you got some sense when you go to Dubai. They still chop your hands off if you steal in Dubai. So he knows if he goes over there, that his father can't get his hand on him or his children. And the only thing I'll leave y'all with is, why is Wynton afraid of Steve being able to get his hands on his potential children? If Wynton ever has any kids, who knows? He may already have kids. Who knows? He may just be keeping it on the low. Because once again, he wants to keep them away from his father. Right? So I said it before and I said it again. Damn it. The only victim in this, of course, Essie, because literally she's lost like a decade of her life, decade plus. But as far as the Harvey name, Mary said, the only victim is Wynton. He wasn't ever able to trust anybody. His mama was worried about the money and too busy with her own mental health issues. His daddy was off either working or abusing him, beating him mentally and physically, spiritually, emotionally, breaking him down, lying to him. Marjorie never gave a shit about him. All the other kids was too afraid to speak out and they stayed in line, and any authority figure turned on them and was bought out by Steve Harvey, allegedly. So there has literally always been no one. There has never been anyone to truly advocate for Wynton. Not even his own mama. Not until Essie came along. So I'm going to leave that there.